Welcome to our guide, or your guide, on harnessing the power of HubSpot, tailored specifically for residential and commercial painting companies. In this video series, we are going to be diving into the basics of HubSpot and how it can revolutionize your painting business operation. Hello and a warm welcome to Boolean Automation's channel. If you're new here, my name is Chris. I'm the owner of Boolean, and we specialize in no-code automation solutions specifically for painting companies like yours to streamline your business processes. This video is part of an exclusive series designed to help you fully optimize every single aspect of HubSpot, which is such a powerful tool, ensuring your business operates at its peak efficiency. Remember, our goal here at Boolean is to free you up to do what you love, so we let you focus more on customer interactions, problem solving, enjoying your personal time, while we handle the tedious data entry and automation work. Let's get started with the essentials of HubSpot. HubSpot is a dynamic CRM platform that offers a multitude of features to enhance your customer relationships and streamline sales processes. For painting companies, this means better lead tracking, efficient project management, and more effective communication with your clients. The first thing to know about HubSpot is that it's a user-friendly interface. Whether you're scheduling a job, tracking client interactions, or managing leads, HubSpot makes these tasks straightforward and accessible. The key features include contact management, where you can store and organize customer information. You can record phone calls, notes, meetings, all that stuff is all kept internally inside of HubSpot. Deal tracking, you can keep tabs on painting projects at various stages. You can integrate your email so all communication is centralized and easy to access for everyone. By the way, don't forget to hit the like button if you're finding any of this information helpful. It really helps the algorithm reach more painting companies just like you, so we can keep sharing our knowledge and helping you get the most out of HubSpot and the other processes and tools in your business. Today, we're going to be focusing on the essential step of setting up your HubSpot account. So let's dive into this here. You probably got an email from the person, the admin in your business, who has invited you. So we're just going to walk through this step by step. I click join the team. That's going to open up a separate tab here, and you can choose to log in with Google, with Microsoft, or just the usual, password or email and password. Go ahead, and I'm going to be setting this up for Luke Skywalker, our newest sales rep here at Boolean Painting, and then type in what you do. So I'm going to type in that I am a sales representative and create a password for yourself. And if you don't use 1Password, I would highly recommend it. It is amazing and super helpful. After you do that, you're going to set up two-factor authentication if you would like. And I'm just going to do the classic text message version. And then these codes, I do recommend saving these. So I would download them as a PDF and print them out. This is just in the case that you lose your password or whatnot, you will be able to get back into your account using these. So you can, stick them in your desk or somewhere at home, maybe pin them up in your office in case you need to get back into your account. You can never see these again. So do it now. Once you do that, we're going to continue to HubSpot. And then you can do these demos here. For me, I know my way around HubSpot pretty well, but just so you can see what happens. If I click, I've never used CRM tools before, you can do this, and it has a bunch of guides to kind of walk you through what to do. What we're going to be doing today is, first of all, setting up your profile. So if you click on the gear up here in the top, you are in the general settings. So the first thing to do right away is upload a profile picture of yourself. For me, I'm going to go get a profile of Luke Skywalker. And I'm going to upload a picture of Luke. There we go. And by the way, I think that they're just like in Google. Having this, there are occasionally times where your photo will show up to users if they're like chatting with the business or whatnot. So I just think it looks more professional. Plus, why not upload a photo? And then you're going to type in your phone number. And then this part here is the default home page. So when you log in, what do you want to see? I do like the activity feed. Sometimes sales reps like seeing deals. Dashboards is also nice because there can be like your dashboard on your total sales or the team sales or whatnot. So, but the most important thing I would say is to just keep in mind that you can change where, like when you log in, what you see. So you can try one and then come back and switch it later. The next really important thing to do is in this email tab here, you want to actually connect your personal email. And this, it says, this is always throws people off. This is your personal work email. It's not like your Gmail account from home. What it means is your personal account. So like for Luke, we're going to turn on inbox automation and connect. In this case, it would be luke@booleanreview.com. That's what you normally would do. But again, because Luke is a fake account, I'm going to type in Chris@booleanreview so that we can actually use this. So Chris@Boolean is the email. And then I'm going to connect to Gmail. So I click continue. It's going to bring me to a screen here where I choose my account and allow. Now this part here, the download extension, you definitely want this. It only works on, the extension specifically only works on desktop. You can still access HubSpot and everything on your iPad or phone, but definitely download the extension. And you're going to want the extension, depending on what you use, extension for Gmail Chrome. They also have an Office 365 or an Outlook extension. I'll show you why that's valuable in a separate video. But you're going to install this in Chrome, and then up on the top, you will see, if you click on the little puzzle piece, I'll bring this down momentarily. If you, right here, you would want to make sure that your HubSpot sales right here, this one is that. So you can click which account are you wanting to do this with, select that, reload the site. And now when you are inside your Gmail account, you'll see that you have this like log email in HubSpot. And there's like this little sidebar that is available. More to come on that later, but that is just the HubSpot sales extension. So now back to here, we have now successfully connected our email, which is great. I would also recommend putting in your email signature. The way I think, or the easiest thing I think to do is if you have your Gmail, if you click compose, you probably already have a signature in Gmail. So just copy what you have in Gmail. And then over here, you can just paste exactly what you have. Photos do not transfer well, so delete that little photo icon. If you want, you can upload a photo. You just need to actually, like, for example, if I was over here, I would need to click the photo that I have here, click save image. And now I can do Chris headshot and then save it. And then come back over. Oh, and I forgot, I'm setting this up for Luke Skywalker, of course. So Luke Skywalker. And then I can also drag in that image again that I had recently pulled. So here's the image. And now I've got a photo. When you drag that photo in, it's going to look huge. So you're going to want to click the 250 pixels. And that just shrinks it down. And then you can actually shrink it down even more to like a size that looks appropriate for that. But that is your signature. So you hit save. People ask like, well, if I connected that, I have my signature. You need a signature in HubSpot in order to have it show up when you send emails. Now, the next thing here is the calling feature. So on this calling tab, I would suggest this is only going to be available if you have a Sales Pro or Sales Enterprise seat. So if you see a different message here, you can just jump ahead about 60 seconds. But I would recommend adding your phone number. And this is a very, very cool feature in HubSpot. You type in your actual cell phone number. And what this does, you're going to click receive an SMS message. So it's going to text you a code. Once that code comes in, it's going to allow you to 795. So I connect this and then click done. And what happens now is that when I am in a contact record, I will be able to click to call that contact, and it will call the contact from my cell phone number, but I will be able to speak through the computer. It allows you to record phone calls and messages very, very easily. And there's a separate video later that we'll get into on tasks. Having your phone number connected is just a massive, massive time saver to get through, 20, 30 calls in an hour very easily. So that is the calling thing. Now the next tab here is just the calendar. So we're going to click Connect Calendar, and this is going to be my Google in this case. You can connect your other ones if you have a different account. So once again, it's going to be connecting to the my Google account, same one in this case that I use for my email. And you will see once that refreshes, there we go. So now it's connected. Sometimes one thing that people like is that you can create inside your calendar a task sync. So I'll create a separate video on that, but this is an important one to know. What this is just going to do is anytime you have meetings that you schedule on your calendar, they'll show up under your activity feed of a given contact. And this will also let you use, there's a feature that HubSpot has that's similar to like Calendly, to set up your meeting link so you could send it to customers and they could book a time or a call with you. Next, we have the tasks here. And this is just by default, whenever you create a task, do you want it to automatically default to due in 3 days? You can switch this. I personally like 2 days. So anytime I make a task, it's probably for a follow-up that I'm going to do in 2 days. And then you could also say, I don't make calls at 8 because we have our sales meeting or whatever. So I'm going to say that these are due at 10 every day. And again, this is just the default. So you can always adjust this, but if you know that that 80% of the time you're doing this, it's just going to save you a little bit of time. And once again, just a reminder, as you're watching these videos, hit the like button down below. I don't quite understand the YouTube algorithm, but I know that the more people that like the video, the better. So if this is valuable, like it, and we'll keep on rolling. And then if you want a reminder of when the task is due, do you want it to automatically remind you 30 minutes before or whatever? So you can change that as well. So we'll go ahead and save that setting. And then it's good to keep in mind that, let's say, I don't know, a week from now, a month from now, you're like, hey, I don't like this. The way to change this is going to be in your general tab and then under tasks. And then lastly here, we have a security tab. So this would be like adding a phone number if you want to get alerted of security things. So I would say put in your phone number here. If you ever need to adjust the two-factor authentication, you can do that here. And then in very rare cases, we actually have had this happen once or twice, but if your email account ever changed, let's say your last name changed because you got married, or maybe they're going from Luke to luke.skywalker at your company domain, you would do that and change the email account here. Probably doesn't apply to most of you, but that's just important to note. So that is the setup for the just like general settings for your account. In this video, I want to show you how to get your HubSpot tasks to show up onto your Google Calendar. This process is very similar if you use Outlook, but I'm going to be walking through the step-by-step process for getting them to show up in Google. So first thing we're going to do is this is a part of a larger video series that I'm doing on setting up HubSpot for painting sales rep. So if you go into the general settings here, you should have already connected your calendar. If you haven't, you can go watch that in a separate video. But this calendar setup here says that it's connected. And then right here, it says task calendar sync. So if you want to connect to your calendar, you first need to hop over to Gmail. And right here, you're going to click on this plus button, and we're going to create a new calendar. And we're going to call this, for Luke Skywalker, I'm going to say Luke S. HubSpot tasks. Create that calendar. And now that I've created that, when I go back over to here, I should be able to see, and you need to refresh your page. So refresh the browser. And then you will see right here that if I look for Luke S, there's the account. So now what that means, and this is the part that's really cool, I can hit save. And if I go over to, this is just to test it out, if I go over to tasks and I create a task for myself, so we're going to ignore that and say create a task, and this task is going to be called call Darth and tell him I love him, and Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, haha, thank you guys. So we're going to not associate with anybody. The rest of that doesn't really matter. And the due date is going to be on Tuesday, so in 2 days. And so I click create. And just for the sake of it, we're going to just do one more. Tell Princess Leia we won. And we're going to go ahead and save that one as well. And so now, if I go look over at my Google Calendar and refresh this, and pick today. So you can see right here that I have now 2 tasks on my calendar. And the nice thing about this is if you have your other personal information, you have this on a separate calendar. So I can toggle on and off my HubSpot tasks. And then the only other thing I like to point out is because it's now synced to your calendar, this can actually get really valuable when you start timing or scheduling out when are you going to call this person back. So it could be like call the Emperor, and I'm going to do this tomorrow at 1 p.m. or let's do noon. So I click that. If I put any notes in here, this is a test to see what it looks like. And so I click create. And now in my Google Calendar, we'll refresh this. And there you go. It says call the Emperor. And if I click on that, you can see that the notes shows up there. And then this is, I think, probably the coolest part is you can actually view the task. So if I click that, it's going to take me directly into that task inside of HubSpot. So really awesome feature to connect your HubSpot tasks to your Google Calendar. In this video, we are going to be talking about HubSpot meeting links, and I'm going to show you exactly how to set it up and customize it to your needs. All right, so I'm in my settings here under General, and if you've connected your calendar, you will see down at the bottom here that you have the option to customize your meeting link name. So right here, I'm setting up this account for Luke Skywalker. So if Luke is going to be taken, because that's a very generic name, so you're going to have to come up with something that is more unique. So like I would say, I'm just curious if I do L Skywalker, probably also taken, in my case, Boolean dot Skywalker or something, but find whatever one works. This is just going to be the URL of the link that you are sending to customers. And again, you could just do Luke 00 and it looks like that's available, or whatever it is that you want to do there. So then we have here that says the default meeting link. So if you had multiple meeting links, it would just be, if you have a discovery call and a 15-minute conversation, by default, whenever you create a meeting link, it's automatically going to have this. So I'll come back and show you what that means later. And then we're going to go ahead and save these settings. Now, if I go over to sales, the tab here, and then go to meetings, this is where I get to set up and customize the links even further. So by default, everybody, you're going to have this one created. I could create a new scheduling page, and I could, I'm going to show you how to set up the one-to-one use, but you could have it where there's a group where someone could book with you and another sales rep. But in this case, we're just going to do the one-to-one. And then we're going to call this the internal name would be like a 15-minute client call. And this is not going to be seen by the customer. The organizer is going to be me, and then the event title. This is where you can choose, like when a customer books this appointment with you, what do you want that event title to say? So I could say one-on-one, and then right here, you can take the contact token, so whoever books it with you. So I could do first name and then Chris at Boolean. So that's an example. And this would show up on their calendar as well so they could see this. So it's a one-on-one with John and Chris at Boolean. You can pull in some other tokens if you want, the company name, whatnot. And again, in the case of the painting world, you're probably not, if someone's booking a call with you, it could probably be just like a follow-up for some questions or something. You're probably not meeting in person. So I would say like by default, I'm just going to type in that this is going to be for a phone call, or you could even say like, I will call you on your cell or something like that. That's just going to be what shows up. So it's not going to say that it's at your business office or something. And then this is, do you want to allow a cancellation or reschedule link? I'm a big fan of that. And then this would just be, you're going to put in that I will call you at this time on your cell. This is to discuss your painting project. And then the meeting type, this could be a sales follow-up, again, depending on how you're planning to use this. So I'm going to say that this is a sales follow-up call or meeting, and look at the rest of that. That looks good. So then I'm going to click next. And now this part is also interesting because it would be, what do you want to, or first of all, what do you want the URL to be? So it's defaulting to what I put in as that internal name. I could call this just a client call, and payment's not really relevant in the painting world. We're not going to charge someone to meet with us. And then this is the title that you want to have right here. So meet with Luke Skywalker. That makes sense. The duration options, I'm going to say 15 minutes is the purpose here. So change it to that. And now this part, obviously you pick your time zone. It should default to the correct one, but I would definitely recommend not allowing people to book you at any time in the day. And instead be like, I am open for calls with customers between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. Pick whatever time you want. 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Tuesdays. Actually, let's say because of lunch, I'm going to say till 12. And then I'm also available on Tuesdays from 1 p.m. after lunch until 2 o'clock. So you can do that. So this would be available on Tuesdays from 10 to noon and 1 to 2, and on Thursdays from, we'll say 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. So you can set this up however you want, but that's just, again, I recommend not letting someone just mess up your whole calendar. But if you have a block of time where people can schedule, that's kind of nice. On the form here, definitely recommend adding in the phone number field or their mobile, so mobile phone. And this is just the properties that they need to fill out when they're contacting you. So I like putting in a custom question here that's just like, what is this call regarding? And they can fill that out. And then I would probably say you don't need the CAPTCHA unless you start getting spam. You can come back and turn that on later. And then if you want, you can turn on this GDPR thing. I don't think that it's super necessary, but again, they're booking with you. It doesn't hurt to have it on. So you can do that if you want. And then the last little thing down here is pre-populate fields with known values. I think this is nice because if a customer is signed up on your website, HubSpot has the ability to autofill that for them. And then it's saying, if we already know all the fields, do you want us to auto submit it? I'm going to say no, but that is just another option there. Then the confirmation page, I would say the default one is fine. You could redirect to your website if you want, but that is all that there is there. So we're going to go ahead and click next. And then do you want to send a confirmation email to the customer? I like that. It's nice to just confirm that it worked. And you can also do a pre-meeting reminder. So an hour before the meeting or 24 hours before, or you could do multiple where you say an hour before and then 1 day before. So 1 day before, it will remind them. And then, we'll say 30 minutes before, it's like, hey, we have a call with Chris. And then include the invite description in the reminder email. So if we take a look, here's the preview, friendly reminder. This is what we're going to be talking about. That looks great. And I can create that scheduling page. So now you have this 15-minute client call link as well as the default one. So you can create multiple of these. So if you ever have used a tool like Calendly for letting people book you, this is a great internal way to utilize this inside of HubSpot. You have your email connected in HubSpot, but you're worried that with the logging feature in HubSpot, that personal messages, whether it's to your spouse or to another employee in the company, are going to get logged and other people will be able to see that message. In this video, I want to show you how you can use the never log feature in HubSpot to prevent that from happening and kind of ensure that if you forget to uncheck log email, that certain people will never have their emails logged in HubSpot. So what this feature does, and by the way, we'll just jump over to Gmail in this case so you can see how this works. But when you have the sales extension connected and your email account connected, there's going to be times where you send an email to somebody. So if I type in right here, if I say I'm going to send an email to Natalie at Boolean, this is my wife, and I can say I love you, and the message is personal stuff I don't want anyone else to see. So by default, this type of message gets logged in HubSpot. So on any one-off basis, I can always choose to unlog an email. But what if I forget to do that? There are certain people that it's probably just never relevant, or there's no reason that I would ever want to have their emails show up. So this never log feature allows you to say, anytime I send an email to Natalie at Boolean Review or any other list of names that I want to put in here, I don't want you to ever log this. So I want to show you how to do that. So, and the question is, how do I get this working or like set up so that anytime I send an email, it puts it on the never log list? So going back over to here, all you need to do is you start adding in domains or names of specific emails. So I could do like Natalie at booleanreview.com, but I could also say like, I don't want to add anyone that has an email. Well, let's say my other alias is Sky Media. So I could say if there is any email that comes from the Sky Media, like John at Sky Media or any of those, all of them would not be logged. So if I save that, you'll see that it's saying any domain at sky.media and also Natalie at Boolean Review. So I can continue to add as many of these as I want, but now I'll show you what happens is that when I go back, because this is on my never log list now, if I go back over here, so we're going to go ahead and refresh the page here because I just saved this, so it's not showing up yet. But now you can see that when I try to click log, now you can see that, again, if we go through this example, so if I do Steve at booleanreview.com, that's fine. It's going to log that for me. But if I type in Natalie at Boolean Review, you'll see that it's only logging it for Steve, but it's not logging it for Natalie. So if I were to just have Natalie here, click right here, you can see this email will not log because one of your recipients is on the never log list. So it's going to automatically take care of that for you. And then the other thing I was saying about the domain is that if I said Chris at sky.media or John at sky.media, anyone at the sky.media domain will never get an email because, and you'll see right here, because the recipient is on the never log list. So that is how the never log list works. Hopefully that was helpful in understanding that feature, but super helpful to just, I would say, add your personal family members, whatever it is, and probably the domain of your business. Because in my opinion, intercompany communication does not need to be logged into your CRM, but conversations with clients do. In this video, I want to go over HubSpot email notifications. There are many different types of notifications that you can receive from HubSpot, and I want to talk about email specifically, show you where you would go to modify those settings, show you how to turn them off entirely if you want, or selectively pick which ones are relevant to you. All right, so first thing here, I'm in the general settings. I'm going to navigate back to here. If you've been setting up your account along with me in this video series, you will notice that if you go to the email tab and scroll all the way to the bottom, there is this notifications are off button. You can turn that on. And then this is going to say, so browser notifications, choose what you get notified about. Email opens, email clicks, document views, lead revisits, prospect revisits. So you can turn on these different ones. These are kind of cool to be able to have that. When you go to right here, you can see that it says manage notifications, and that's going to take you to the notifications tab. And now the nice thing, this is, I think, a fantastic feature of HubSpot, is that it breaks up the types of notifications into different tabs. So you have email notifications, which is exactly what it sounds like. Desktop notifications, you have a couple different options, which we'll dive into in a second. And then you have mobile app notifications. So if you have the mobile app on your phone, you can set up the push notifications that you get just like you would get notified from like a social media app. The other apps you can turn on or get, you can integrate Slack. I'm not going to go into that in this video. And I am personally not someone that uses Microsoft Teams, so we won't talk about that. But there is these other options to integrate and get notified if your company uses one of these. So let's jump into email first. If you are brand new, you just created your account, honestly, my recommendation would be to leave your email notifications on. And if you click expand all items here, we can kind of skim through these. I will tell you that once you use HubSpot for a while, I personally turn off all of my email notifications, and you can do that by just toggling off here. If you're new, I would recommend keeping them on because I personally remember when I started using HubSpot, I found it really valuable just to see what type of stuff HubSpot could notify me about. And then as you start to get email notifications, you could decide and say, I actually don't need to know about Academy notifications. Or if there's ads that are running, if I'm a sales rep, I don't really care about ads. If you're a marketing person, maybe you do want that. I don't need to have blogs. And I'm saying if I'm going through these from the perspective of a sales rep, I would say these I don't need to know that. For assigned, that could be, depending on the structure of how you guys set this up, it would be nice to know if you ever get a chat conversation assigned to you or an email conversation assigned to you. And you only would get a notification if it did get assigned to you. So I think that makes sense to me. If someone mentions you, that's definitely something that you probably would want to keep on to make sure you don't miss that. If you're curious what that is, we'll have a separate video that kind of explains how messaging or communicating inside of HubSpot to employees works. But I'm not going to go through every one of these, but I would just skim this and see what looks valuable or interesting to you. Again, from the sales rep perspective, you're probably going to want to be more alerted on deals. Probably don't need to be notified when forms are submitted. The marketplace is not relevant to sales reps. Notification topics you could turn off. Approvals, you probably need to be notified of that. Projects, I don't recommend painting company use projects, but you may want to experiment with that. If there's updates to records, you could do that. I'm going to turn that one off. The marketplace, we're going to turn off. Partners, we're going to turn off. Quotes, we don't recommend using the quote feature in HubSpot, so you could turn all those off. If you guys are, that would be where you can do that. Security, I think that's good to keep on. But basically, you can come back in. I think it's good to just kind of skim this and see what is possible to be alerted for. And then down here, you can see this website visits is really interesting. So HubSpot actually tracks and can tell which user, once a user submits a form, I should say, it knows when contacts are then revisiting sites. So you can choose to be alerted when contacts that you are the owner of visit the websites, or do you want to get an alert in an email or real-time alert in your activity feed? So you can change that there. And then workflows, probably not applicable to sales reps, but that would be my recommendation there. So that is all of your email notification settings inside of HubSpot. And I think just for the sake of simplifying this, we're going to separate. I'll make a separate video for desktop notifications and mobile app notifications just to keep these succinct. In this video, I want to go over the HubSpot mobile app notification settings and show you how you can choose when to get notified on your mobile app as a push notification, as opposed to getting emails or desktop notifications, which I covered in separate videos. So on the notifications here, we're going into the mobile app tab, and then once again, you can choose what are you going to get notified or alerted for. I would strongly recommend getting notified when there's a comment that mentions you. That's a common way for people to communicate inside of HubSpot. You want to make sure you're not going to miss that. And then the contacts and companies, the deals. I think honestly, the mobile app settings are the most valuable of all of the types because at least for me, I have the mobile app on my phone. If you you don't have the HubSpot mobile app, I'll be sure to put a link in the description below where you can download the HubSpot mobile app so that you make sure that you're getting these push notifications. And again, just like with everything else, my personal preference is to be notified in the apps that I'm using. I personally don't like getting dozens and dozens of email notifications. So I personally would rather not have email notifications on and have my desktop and mobile app notifications on. But in the other videos, I broke down how you can dive into that in more detail. But the mobile app settings here is where you can adjust all those. Again, if you're just starting in HubSpot, I would recommend keeping everything on, and then you can start noticing what you're getting notified for and decide what you don't want to be notified for. So that is the HubSpot mobile app notification settings overview. If you have any other questions, please leave them in the comments down below. Happy to help with anything else. In this video, I'm going to be covering HubSpot's desktop notifications. There are 3 different types of desktop notifications that HubSpot has, and I want to show you how to customize which ones you get and how you get them, and then what you get them for. So if that's of interest, stick around because that's what we're going to be covering in this video. All right, so desktop notifications. You're going to get here from the settings gear up in the top, click on notifications, and then go to the desktop tab. So there are different types of notifications, and one thing that's really cool here is that it will show you what the example of it. So I can click send me an example, and you'll see that right here, I got a little red dot that appeared on the bell, and I can see this is a bell notification. So I can click that, and it's, that is a bell notification. So you'd have to be paying attention to that little red circle that's on the bell, but that is what bell notifications are. Pop-up notifications, you'll see that while I'm inside of HubSpot, it pops up like that. One thing to note about bell notifications is that if I was just in a different tab, so now I'm on Google and I got a bell notification, I might hear the ring if I have the HubSpot open in a different tab, but it's not going to come onto the screen if I'm not inside of HubSpot. The browser notification is a very cool feature that will browser notifications appear on your screen when you're not active in HubSpot, but the site is open in your browser. So as long as you have HubSpot open, you can be alerted. So we're going to show you how to turn this on. To turn this on, you need to go to the left sidebar, go to notifications, click on desktop, and then right where it says allow browser notifications, you have to click allow, and then there's a dialog box that should show up in the top. And I don't have that because I've already changed the settings, but you need to allow that. So let's say that you accidentally or inadvertently did not allow those notifications to come through. The way that you would resolve that issue is by going into your Chrome settings. So I'm going to bring my screen here. You click on these 3 dots, and then you're going to go to settings, and then with the notifications, you have this site settings. So notifications, and then this is showing you which sites you allow to send you notifications. So if you click here where you find HubSpot, you will see notifications. We have set this to allow. So in HubSpot, in my case, I have set this to allow. So if you have not, or if you had accidentally denied or did not allow the notifications, that's how you would get it turned on for HubSpot. And by the way, if there's other apps or websites that you use, this is where you would go to update that as well. So jumping back into settings here, now what you can do is, if you look here, we can say, do you want to play a sound when you get a pop-up notification? Do you want to display a red dot when you get a bell notification? So you can have those on. And then now back to here, if you watch the other video on email notifications, this is where you can set up and choose which things are important for you to be notified about. So from the perspective, you're new to HubSpot and you're just trying to understand notifications, I think it's most important to just scroll through. If you don't know what something is, for now, I would probably recommend to leave it on, and then just remember in a month from now, when you're trying to refine your notifications, you can come back in and turn things off. I think it's so valuable to see what HubSpot can notify you for and make sure that you are getting those notifications in the way that suits you best. So this is where you would change all of those settings for the desktop notifications. And the other thing that's nice is up here, if you wanted to turn off bell notifications altogether or browser or whatever, you could just say, I'm going to turn off all pop-ups and nothing else. You have to save your preferences before you do that. So I save, I click here, and now I've turned off all pop-up notifications. So that is an option for you as well. And then when they're all collapsed like this, I would say from a sales rep's perspective, I'd probably just dive into the deals and maybe turn these on to make sure I don't miss those ones. And then we have Tasks, I would say, is critical. So if a task is assigned to you or a task reminder, that's nice to have. Dashboards you could have when you're mentioned on a dashboard. I think that's nice to have. That's where you're going to see all your sales numbers. Deals, probably the most important. Make sure that you have the notifications on for deals. So that is adjusting the settings for HubSpot desktop notifications. Hopefully that was valuable. And in this video, I want to show you what I think is the single most important feature in all of HubSpot. That's a pretty bold claim to make, you might be thinking, but I want to show you why this search bar is something that you should get very familiar with and understand exactly how that works. So let's dive into that. If that's of interest, you're a HubSpot user and you're trying to understand how to leverage HubSpot fully, stick around because that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. I am in the HubSpot demo account right now, and I have created a fake sales rep named Luke Skywalker, and we've got a couple contacts in here. But what I want to talk about today is this search bar. I think that if you are new to HubSpot, the most valuable thing you can understand is that this HubSpot search bar is like a Google search inside of HubSpot. You obviously can search for contacts. So for example, I'll search for Luke Skywalker, and you'll see that the contact name Luke Skywalker shows up. And I'd say this is probably the most important thing in the search results to understand is that it's going to show you broken up by category. So contacts that pertain to the name that you typed in here. So if I started to type in a B or I start typing out the name BR, you can see that it shows contacts that might be Brian. In this case, Brian Halligan doesn't have any deals. So you'll notice that in the previous search, there was a contact and then deals. If I go back to that, actually, you can see that it's showing me deals that contain that name. So it usually breaks it down with contacts, deals, and then it will show you activities, then tasks. And then if we go back to that other one where I started to type in BR, you'll see that it also shows you settings and knowledge documents and academy lessons and courses that might be what you're looking for. So the thing to understand is that you can, as you're searching for something, you can type in like literally anything. Like I need to make a new contact. So like create contact. If I search for that, you'll see that it's pulling up again, deals, emails. If I scroll all the way to the bottom here, I actually have the ability to create a new contact inside of HubSpot. There's also knowledge documents that say, how do I create a specific date or contact property? So it's searching all of the information inside of HubSpot. Now, the next thing that you can do is right here, you can choose to filter by just academy lessons. So for example, let's say that I'm trying to search for something that starts with BR and I know that it's not a contact, it's a setting that I'm looking for. So now I'm filtering and I'm only looking at the information that is pertaining to settings that contain that search. So if I go back to here and I'm typing for Luke, I can clear the filter or search for Luke. Now I'm searching for contacts, deals, calls, and tasks. Maybe there's a phone call that I made to Luke that I'm trying to find. Now you can see these are the calls that I made to Luke only, and so you can navigate directly to that. So whatever it is you're trying to do, let's say you're trying to send an email inside of HubSpot. I can filter just by academy lessons that are going to help me understand email marketing or start email marketing. But it seriously, like whenever I don't know how to do something, I just go straight to here. And the beauty of it is that you can search for contacts, deals, companies, settings, anything that you want, you can do straight from this. The very last thing I want to point out is that let's say you need to make a new contact. So very often you will be wondering, did I put Natalie Kiefer in the system? So I search for Natalie Kiefer. It's pulling up another contact, Chris Kiefer, but I can't find Natalie. If I scroll to the bottom and it says create a new contact for Natalie Kiefer, I click that. Immediately, I have the first two fields filled out, Natalie Kiefer, and I just need to add her email. So, and likewise, if I have an email address I'm trying to see, does Natalie at booleanreview.com exist? And it tells me there's another booleanreview.com, but if I scroll down, I can create a new contact for Natalie at Boolean Review, and it puts that email into the email field, and then I can continue filling out the name. So rather than, I think it's a common mistake, in my opinion, it's just less efficient. People will come in here and they will navigate over to contact, click on contact, and then they will search in this search bar here, just in contacts. It's not bad. It will get you to where you want, but I would just say, why not use the search bar? Because it's searching and it quickly gives you the ability to make a new contact. And then if you type out their full name, it already starts filling out that contact form for you. So That is why I think that is the most valuable feature in HubSpot. If this was valuable, leave a like, comment down below. What other tricks and tips inside of HubSpot are super valuable? I'd love to see what else you guys have found that you think are super powerful. But I think hands down, understanding the power of that search bar is going to save you much time and just get you to the result that you're looking for faster. Thanks so much for watching. If you're a painting company, we'd love to chat. You can join our email list or schedule a time in the description down below. But like I said, I'm from Boolean, where we free you up to do what you love. We'll see you in the next video.